Welcome to the Logic and Life Coaching Podcast, episode 25.
Everyone wants happiness and success, and we know how to get you there. Come listen to the Leadership Society of Arizona as we teach a proven logic to help you simplify life, overcome challenges, and predict the future. You're listening to the Logic and Life Coaching Podcast. Welcome to the Logic and Life Coaching Podcast. My name is Chuck Zalanis, and I'm joined by our very, very, very special guest, Andrew Bills.
Hi, guys.
Hello. Andrew took our course when he was in college and at ASU, and so we are really excited. He worked with our group for over a year while he was getting his master's degree in construction management. He now works in the field of construction at what company?
Hensel Phelps Construction.
Hensel Phelps. Yeah, so he's applied a lot of what we've learned on a daily basis into his general work life, and it's been pretty successful. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I was a TA for Dr. Jacob for his class and for Dr. Dean, and I've known the guys for a while.
All right. Well, Andrew, we're really excited to have you on. And then we also have our other very, very special guest, Dr. Jacob Kashiwagi, who's going to be answering the question.
No, it's great to be here, and Andrew, it's great to have you. Andrew was one of our best students, and actually, you know, one of the students that was most surprising, because Andrew, many people don't know, but I believe you're going down the career of going into finance in the stock market, correct?
Yeah, I actually, before I'd taken the class, I did an internship at Silicon Valley Bank in the heart of the financial district in San Francisco. I was doing 409A valuation of pre-IPO companies and going down that road of being in that space, and just didn't love it. Didn't have the desire to do it for whatever reason. And then Dr. Dean was encouraging me to continue my education and potentially check out the School of Construction Management at ASU. And, you know, I tried it, dipped my toe in the water, and as soon as I did, I loved it and haven't looked back. I really enjoyed where I'm at.
Yes, and I found that amazing, your story, because you're headed down a career path that was very lucrative. You'd be making lots of money, and you went down another career path, and you actually became just as successful, I believe. So it's great to see that, and students following their dreams and being able to make it a reality and whatnot. So yeah, it was very impressive to me.
And what's also great is that you're following something that you enjoy rather than something that you just feel like you're in it for the money.
Yeah, Dr. Jacob was actually able to come out and tour the project with his wife, and it's a neuroscience research building, my first project. And I think everybody in life knows someone or has a friend or a loved one or a relative that has had some neurobiological disorder or disability that's affected them directly or indirectly. And to be able to build a facility that empowers researchers to go out and figure out things like Alzheimer's and schizophrenia and dementia and other things that affect the brain, there's a lot of intrinsic motivation to go to work and make that happen.
Wow. Well, very cool. So, Andrew, it sounds like you've had some questions. We were talking offline a little bit. We wanted to cover one of these deep philosophical questions that you had. Do you mind sharing this question and seeing if Dr. Jacob can answer it? I know I've tried to stump him in the past. I've been unsuccessful, so we'll see if you can do it.
Well, so what prompted me was this idea of paradoxes, because paradoxes usually can stump people or make people think, you know, well, if this happened, then this might happen, and this could happen. But a lot of them aren't necessarily rooted in reality. And so we have to keep that in mind and caveat that it's more of just a thought experiment or an exploration, but not necessarily something that's reality. But my question was, if we have this all-powerful God that can create anything, could that same all-powerful God create a universe or a reality where that God does not exist?
Okay. So my first question here, to answer your question, is you're thinking of paradoxes. What made you think of this one?
I'm not sure. I've always enjoyed a good puzzle or a good paradox, like something that makes you explore more mentally and challenge you to think about things in a different way or think about things in an outside of the box way. So that's really it.
Got it. The other thing is when you're talking about, so the idea is, if an all-powerful God can do anything, can he make a universe where he's not in it? And so my next question is, what would that universe look like with there being no God? Is there a difference if God is in the universe or not in the universe, in your mind?
In my mind, the world looks like a much different place, yeah, because people don't have to decide whether or not there's a God. If it's known through some means that it's known that the only way that this universe came to be was through a series of chemical reactions or
Yes. So if people don't have to decide if there's a God or not, then, and so everyone just knows, hey, this is just evolution, series of chemical reactions, how will the people change?
I don't know. I think it would be you wouldn't see a world with like ornate churches. You wouldn't see a world with the religious wars that have occurred or the benefits that have come from religion. You wouldn't see it maybe as giving of people. I picture a very mechanical, structured. I haven't thought about it much. Obviously, I just thought of the question.
Your question is kind of like a paradox that doesn't really have any meaning to life in general, but it actually kind of does, because the impact of it really does have an impact on how life works, and even probably how you personally would see the world, right? And the crux of it comes down to, if someone didn't have to make a decision on something like, is there a God or the purpose of life, if it was just well known, does that then change society for the better? Right?
I don't know. Yeah, I can't say.
Does that change your life for the better? What if you didn't, Andrew? What if you didn't have to make a choice on it? It was just clear. It was one way.
Well, I think in general, in life, the less decisions that I have to make, the happier I am. The fewer times that I need to make a decision throughout the day, the better off I am when I know, like, I don't even have to think about it.
Yes. And, maybe also that's what you're looking at, is you're looking at, if I didn't have to make a decision about all these ideas about life and what reality is there a God, is there not a God, is, the different religions and whatnot, if that was all cleared up, maybe life would be a lot easier. So to answer your question with those things in mind, okay, here's my answer. It depends on what your definition of God is. Okay, so if your God is like that Avengers guy who got the 5 Infinity Stones, yes, you definitely can make a universe without you in it. But in all reality, okay, I'm just messing around, but in all reality, can a God make a universe without him in it? And the answer is no. Basically, because no matter what you do, the beginning always had God in it. But to really kind of understand this little question here, it gets down to something even bigger, which is in your life. Can you ever create a life where you eliminate the decisions that you have to make? So it's just clear.
Not in, I don't think, a personal life, but maybe in an automated facility. There are very few decisions going on. And I don't know if you can eliminate entirely, but in a Six Sigma manufacturing process, or in something where
Yes.
you see just pure automation humming away, you're seeing very few decisions made.
Yes. And a lot of times when we see like an automated plant, no decisions being made, how did that get that way? We often think that the minimal decision making was created by what?
The it was
Are you seeing
probably
the same thing? Go ahead, Chuck.
yeah. So it was probably created by a person. So a person had to make that decision to create that automated system. They probably had to figure out the processes and procedures. They had to go through trial and error and figure out how to go through all those things. I mean, uh,
Yes.
yeah, in any process, I think in any sort of work of art as well, you have to go through the steps beforehand before you get there.
Yes. And so a lot of times though, people think the minimal decision making is created by the machines. But the machines carry it out, but there had to be a mastermind behind it. And that mastermind, already in their mind, they had to know of a way to eliminate decision making in what they're doing. So now let's relate your question now, even though it might not have originally started out this, let's relate it to life, which is basically when someone makes an automated plant where no decision making has to be made, that's like God making a universe where God is not in that universe anymore. And I think anyone who identifies of a person who's like 100% has all information, can do anything, that person, their mind has to already operate with a no decision making pattern. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like a watchmaker.
And so actually what I think you're getting to here, Andrew, is you're trying to figure out in your own life, how do I eliminate my decision making, and is it possible? And the answer to that question is yes, it's very possible. And so what we need to do now is identify that person who makes an automated plant. How does their mind work? And so I'm going to give you a couple pieces of advice to minimize decision making in your life and be able to create your own universe where you don't have to make a decision in it. Okay. Number one is look at your current life right now and identify the things where you have to spend the most amount of time in them. Now, just by figuring out that, you can then start to figure out, well, why am I spending so much time making decisions on this? And just take it one by one. Because automation and minimizing decision making is like a talent. The more you do it, the better you get at it. And so if you just focus on one thing in your life, trying to eliminate your decision making down to zero, then okay, then you can go to the next thing and the next thing, and pretty soon you see, man, it's all good. Now, of course, the piece of advice here is you want to start automating the thing that's the easiest to automate in your life. So you want to automate the decision, is there God, is there not a God? Now that is like really advanced. You're going to have to get a lot of information for that a lot of people don't even know where to find that. So that's not the best place to start, but you start with the easiest things. So first, find and identify the things where you spend the most amount of time that you don't want to spend the time there. You're making the decisions. Second, routine. Got to have a really good routine in your life. The routine is identifying what do you have to do everything that you look at in life that you need to do, but in a structured way, that you're doing it every single day in, day out. You do things at the same time. The more you can do the exact same every single day, the less decisions you have to make and the more you can get done. A lot of people say that's boring, but actually it's not very boring, because even though you're doing the exact same things at the exact same times of the day, as you get very efficient in it, you start like doing all sorts of creative things that people don't realize as you automate life. Okay, so first, identify where you're making the decisions, work on getting that down. Second, work on a routine. Third, always incorporate technology when you can. Because a lot of times you're making decisions because the mind cannot store enough information and cannot know enough information to eliminate the decisions. So the more you incorporate technology, the less decisions you have to make. And the fourth, very simple, I say it all the time, Chuck knows what's coming, find a mentor.
Find that mentor. So let me clarify though, and ask a follow-up. In your routine, are you incorporating time for creativity? Are you incorporating time for meditation? I mean, obviously, I know that you're a big advocate of that. So in your routine, how much time should someone allocate, or is it just as much time as they need?
Okay, so two different questions here. Well, they're the same question, but kind of different details. For meditation-wise, I always say if someone is meditating to about anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes a day, that's very healthy for you to do. For me, I usually meditate anywhere between 10 and 15 minutes a day. And I've been doing that for a very, very long time. Now, in terms of in my routine, how much time should I leave for innovation? A lot. They say normally in a company, if a company, like the first thing to go right in a company is R&D, which is research and development, or in other words, innovation. That's when a company stops spending money in innovation or R&D, that's when you know that they're eventually going to fail. They're going to lose it. A lot of times companies will spend anywhere from 10 to 40% on research and innovation or in development. I say it's the same way in life. I would say if you have created that universe where you don't have to make decisions for yourself anymore, you can donate or allocate 40% of your time as innovation. Because you have done all the other things that people usually spend 90% of their time doing, and now you're just an innovator. That's why a lot of people who are very successful, people don't know, but they're just innovating all day long. They're not having to make decisions on maintaining and just keeping things going, right? They've automated all of that. So all they're doing in their day is relaxing, meditating, enjoying, and then innovating. And with my day, if I can spend 20 to 30% of my day innovating, meaning developing new things, going to new areas, that is a very successful day for me. And that's what I usually do.
And let me jump back to meditation. What is your meditation process? Do you sit in a quiet room and think of nothing, or what is your general process?
Now, here's my thing. A lot of times people need to clear their mind because it's bogged down by a lot of things. My mind doesn't usually get bogged down by a lot of things. And so my meditation is usually one, I do agree it needs to be in a very quiet place. My meditation is usually done in the early morning, late evening. Well, I mean, relatively. Really, really early morning for people and kind of in the evening for some people, for many people. But that's when I do my meditation, and I do it in two spurts, meaning I don't do it all at once. I do one in the morning, one in the evening. And I don't clear my mind. What I'm doing with my meditation is I'm going through my routine. I'm going through my day. I'm looking at what had happened, how I feel about it, questions I might have had on it. It's my time to really just review. And it's kind of an innovation. It kind of lets me go through my entire day. I pick out the points where I was making decisions on. I look at, well, why am I making those decisions? What was I feeling? How can I make it better? And I go through all of that in my mind, and it allows me to clear things out. So I can go to bed, or I can start the day right. Does that kind of answer your question, Andrew?
Yeah, it does. I think the quote by Bruce Lee, how does it go? Open your mind, be formless and shapeless like water.
Yes, yes. And that's the thing is also, I find that as you do clear your mind, so sometimes I clear my mind, but I let whatever needs to come into it. And so my goal isn't to keep my mind empty, but my goal is actually to empty my mind out so I can actually look at the entire day and let whatever needs to come into it and me to figure out come and do that. Oh, but thank you for the question. It did take us in a I think a good direction. And it is something that is very much on people's minds, especially in our day, with our advancement technology and what can be done. So.
But you still see so many people say, no, you got to make more decisions. You got to increase the amount of decisions you make, and
that's why, Andrew, I
got to increase the amount of influence you have on people.
That's why this paradox is really funny. Because even if God made a universe where he wasn't in it, people would still question if there was a God or not.
Yeah, I know. And truth be told, I really didn't spend too much time thinking of this question or pondering this thought. Like, it's not something that I just have been looming over for a long time. It just popped into my head.
Yes, no, I'm glad it did, because the conversation I thought was outstanding. So,
well, thank you so much, listeners, for listening, for viewers for watching. Thank you so much, Dr. Jacob, for answering that question, and thank you, Andrew, for coming on. We appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Logic and Life Coaching Podcast. It would be great if you could take a moment to write us a review. For any questions, comments, or topics that you would like to have addressed on the show, email the team at leadaz.org. To learn more about the Leadership Society of Arizona, visit us at leadaz.org.